now I'm gonna let him do it one time real quick. Right. On your belly, you ready?
When I think of Genesis Home, I think about family.
New beginning.
I think the word home is really important.
Respect.
Security.
I think of children working at homework together.
Getting a chance to make a fresh start.
A home.
I think of a safe place.
I think of the children.
It's starting all over again.
Motivation.
Children.
Safe.
Structure.
It brings me back to my community.
Accomplishment.
Laughter.
People that really care about your future and where you are at the point in time in your life that you need them.
Thank you, Mama.
My family and I were homeless. We figured we needed some help. We contacted the people at Genesis Home who set up an interview for us, and they pretty much immediately took us in. We stayed at Genesis Home about 9 months, and they were able to help us move into our new home. I actually contacted the homeless shelter when we were homeless, and they said that my husband would not be able to stay with me. It would be just me and the kids in one place, and my husband had to stay another place. I felt like our family couldn't take that blow at that point in time because we were already going through enough. Genesis Home really is a resource to help keep your family together.
Back in those days, homelessness was just becoming visible in Durham.
Many of the safety nets that supported those in greatest need had broken down.
But it became a large enough number and a visible enough number to grab the hearts of a lot of religious folks in this community saying we can't allow that.
I discovered a huge need that was not filled in Durham, which was safe housing for homeless families with children.
Durham Congregations in Action, which is an interfaith group of congregations from throughout the Durham community. We were looking for things to do to meet human need in the community. A group of leaders came together and we began to talk about building Genesis Home.
We wanted to site the house downtown, and so we just started with the property office of the city of Durham and got a list of vacant properties and went and visited each one and negotiated with the city council to arrange the donation of a lot, which is where we're sitting now.
About that time, Carolyn Lantz called me up on one December 30th, said,
I have this house, I want to give it away.
and I said, Carolyn, we can't afford to move it. She says, who's president of DCI? I said, Joe Harvard.
I got a telephone call one day from the Reverend Haywood Holderness, and he said, I got good news and bad news about the Genesis Home house. He said, the good news is someone is contributing a house. The bad news is we've got to get it from Hope Valley to downtown Durham.
But it turned out to cost a whole lot of money to get that house moved out.
I went to talk to the officers of the church, and I said, I want $3,000 to move a house from Hope Valley to downtown Durham. They looked at me like I'd lost my mind, but after further conversation, they agreed to go along with the request.
To get it out of Hope Valley and then downtown Durham was just quite a sight.
The whole process of putting together Genesis Home, which was so full of love and labor and struggle, really was shared with a wide group of people. It was most gratifying to all of us as organizers that when the call for help went out, it was answered.
The house was here, it was meeting the need. But it was meeting the need, and there were more people that needed it, so there was an addition.
On my first day at Genesis Home, the groundbreaking occurred. The place was decorated, there were dignitaries, there was food, there was also mud.
I had a tour of their home and I was very impressed because of the individual setting, and everything seemed so family-like, and it was just ideal for me because family is my passion, so I was like, wow.
I really came to Genesis Home because I just saw that it had the ability to change people's lives.
The biggest thing on our plate was trying to figure out what to do in terms of having an on-site child care center.
When we built the new building, Kids Space was part of the plan. We ran the child care center for almost 4 years. We were incredibly successful with everything except figuring out how to subsidize the child care. I think the hardest thing I ever did at Genesis Home was closing the child care center.
One of the things that I liked most about Genesis Home is it really paid attention to what the residents had to say about what their needs were, but it really saw the residents as one of its greatest assets.
I wanted to reach out and help other people as Genesis Home helped me. I experienced living here at Genesis Home. I experienced being homeless. I experienced going through the things that other staff members had not experienced. And so I had the opportunity to kind of touch others' hearts.
The Genesis Home is the only organization of its kind in Durham. There are definitely other very strong organizations in Durham that work with homeless families or homeless individuals, but Genesis Home is the only one that not only offers the shelter, but works with families on the services, thinks about what the kids' needs are, thinks about what the parents' needs are, and really the whole package.
One of the things early on that I learned at Genesis Home was that there was no way I was going to be able to do any of this by myself.
It's really important for our community to realize that we really do have agencies like Genesis Home who do reach out and provide the kinds of services that they provide. But it's also important that we support those services because so many people do go through very unfortunate situations in their lives.
For Durham businesses, supporting Genesis Home is making an investment in the community. We're moving individuals from the liability side of the ledger to the asset side of the ledger.
When I came to Genesis Home as the director, our initial challenge was really around funding. The next issue that we looked at, we realized that young people aging out of foster care, a great percentage of those young people were at risk of becoming homeless, and we developed a partnership with Durham County Department of Social Services to serve young people aging out of foster care.
As people move through this transitional housing program, it was really important to begin thinking about this notion of permanent housing.
We moved in a direction where we added our Turning Point permanent housing program, where we're providing rental support and in-home case management.
You know, the best part of working here was actually watching people move out.
AJ, get your sandals on, sweetheart, so we can go outside.
My favorite part of working at Genesis Home is when we have a family that is graduating from the program and is moving into their own place. That is success for us when folks leave and get their own place.
At a time where people can look down on you, when you're at the lowest point that you probably could possibly be in, no one wanted to kick us while we were down. Everyone wanted to help, and everyone had a tremendous amount of respect for us, and I just really appreciate that. You had one of us. What are you doing? We had stayed there long enough. We had saved a little money, and then we had these beautiful townhomes being built, and it was a chance that we could get in. So as long as we could get in here, we were okay because the rent's controlled, and so, you know, you can't beat it.
The organization really isn't satisfied with doing what we've always done. We're looking at what else we can do to be more effective in our services that we provide, both in our program and out in the community.
Genesis Home has a 20-year history of caring, loving people who want to do something for folks that are not as fortunate as they are.
We have an increasing demand in our community for transitional housing, and we don't have many of those facilities available. Genesis Home has stepped in and really provided the kind of support that we need.
Durham is a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to raise children, but we have to keep on making it that place that people want to be, and where people want to raise their kids, and where people want to reach out to each other and help each other.
I'm proud to be a partner with Genesis Home.
Genesis Home made a difference in my life.
From the very beginning, the organization has been blessed with tremendous community support from individuals, the faith community, the business community. We need their support if we're going to address the needs that we see with our families. People have to get involved right now.
I think one of the things that I would tell folks who don't know a lot about Genesis Home is, number one, it's the big yellow house across from the library. Number two, it's probably one of the best investments that you can make with regard to supporting people who are really trying to change their lives.
Watch out!